So please welcome Senseg CEO, Ville Ma.
It doesn't. Okay. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Oh, thank you. Oh. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. So actually, I'm CTO and founder of the company. Let's see. Well, oh, yes. So, let's see if we can go back one slide. No, we cannot. So, my question today was actually, what the f is a field screen? So, I have two answers to start with. One of them is that field screen is the next evolutionary step of touchscreen, the type you currently have in your iPad or tablet device or in any smartphone with a touchscreen. And the second answer is, it's something we do, and we are Senseg. Startup on the rise, growing rapidly. Headquarters here in Helsinki. Then we have offices close to our customers, namely in Taipei, Taiwan, Tokyo, Japan, and in Cupertino, USA. We're VC funded. Our lead investor is Ambient Sound Investment, which is the investment fund of the founding engineers of Skype. And what is it that we do? Let's see. Well, okay. Well, hopefully this is not physics lesson, but we came up with a new physical phenomena. How to stimulate the human body, human hand in a totally different way. Without moving anything, using an electrostatic field, we can generate feelings that you can actually feel with your hand. And now, how does it work? It creates a small force field that pulls your finger toward the surface. It's a small force, but let's say same way as your eyes can detect certain wavelengths of light, we can target the receptors in your hand so that they can feel the force field that we're generating. And what's the significance of that? Well, the significance is that when you have your touchscreen device, when your hand goes over an object, we can turn that object feelable. So for instance, if you're trying to hit a key, we'll be able to make you feel that there's a key underneath your finger. And again, why is this important? Well, because current touchscreens don't have any feel. And that's a usability issue. So for instance, why was iPhone so good? It wasn't because it had more megapixels, because it had a better processor. It was better because it's better usability. Now, of course, others are catching up. But the next step in evolution is that there has to be some kind of feel in the screen. And since we are enabling that, let's see. That's one of the reasons probably why Gartner chose us to be cool vendor for 2011. And a little bit more in more detail, what do? We have really brilliant software running on the system, and then we have a piece of IC, and that connects to the system that has special codings. And that's the actual field screen, the front of side of a touchscreen device, where you can feel objects. Now, some of you might say, OK, but we already have the vibrating motor. There is already a shakes in some of the devices. So why is this different? Well, allow me to tell you. And the reason for that is that, well, let me back up one step. I actually did my research very back in brain research, and where I did my PhD. And I want to put things into that context. So what does vibration and what does shaking mean? The things you can do with the mechanical things if you put those into your device. Well, let's do time travel. We time travel and also space travel to Africa a few million years ago. And then you are one of our ancestors walking in Africa on a plane. And then Earth starts to shake. What does that mean? Well, it could mean, for instance, okay. It could mean that an elephant is coming by. What do? You run to a nearby tree, you hold on to a tree, and then you're holding to a twig. And that starts to shake. What does that mean? It means you're in trouble. The twig is probably going to break, and then you fall down, and so forth. So shaking and vibration, in essence, are alarm signals. Us human beings are hardwired to think that shaking and vibration is an alarm signal. That's why the vibration in a mobile phone is such a good alarm. But that's not feeling. That's not field screen. You cannot make shakes and vibrations to be a field screen. So instead, think about what is real touch. Maybe if some of you would like, just put your hand on the top of clothes, just whatever you have on your own sleeve, and move your hand. Because only when you start moving your hand, you'll be able to build a cognitive map of what's underneath your fingers. This single touch doesn't really tell anything. You build the map by moving your hand. That's the way you can grasp the world. And this is specifically how Senseg technology works. We can build those objects on the screen, which you can feel, which you can then use in all the possible ways. So, to take a couple of examples, what does it mean in practice? Think of gaming. Gaming where you're able to feel the objects on the screen. You can focus on one thing, but you can still feel. As in the real world, you would be able to look at something, but you still have to feel with another hand. Or take another control, such like a little bit more practical. Any control you're doing, browsing or whatever, you focus on the top of the screen, but your hand is more in the down, like below bottom side of the screen. But if you can still control, if you can feel what you're doing, then you can focus on another place instead of just looking where your hand is. Touchscreen, in a sense, it tends to be just looking what's underneath your finger and trying to hit that. Senseg technology can change that. We can turn it into a field screen where you can feel the object and you don't have to anymore look at the exact thing. Or another example. Say you are web shopping. You would be able to feel the objects on the screen. There would be clothes. Say you're buying something. You'd be able to feel the clothes on the shop. Or any imaginable object can be made feelable on a field screen having Senseg technology in it. And why is this, again, important? Well, real world consists of touch. You touch objects in the real world. But the internet, the virtual world, doesn't contain touch. That's the missing part. It's not the real world. We are bringing an aspect that into consumer devices with our technology. And we are very near. And to sort of take a little bit different perspective, most of you have heard, or probably all of you have heard, the saying, seeing is believing. But actually, that's only part of the very well-known proverb, because seeing is believing, but feeling is the truth. And this highlights the fact that the emotional engagement happens only when you feel something. So, Senseg is close to bringing this technology into market. We have multiple partnerships with ODMs and OEMs. And now, we would be very interested in having game developers, interaction houses, to take advantage of this new technology that will revolutionize the way you use your touch devices. And that's basically it. We do have demo here, so our VP of marketing, the tall American-looking American, has a demo, and we'll be happy to answer your questions after this. Thank you very much.